Kız yigit xurlanğan, ayak asti qılınğan, ezilgen şu xalqımning qo'llarini suygim bor mening. Feryadim osmon felak to'kilgachga qon selda, ejderhanın oqsidim vatanimni olg'im bor mening. Rizwangul Uyg'urmay vatan qo'ldim hargiz ketmagay. Ay yıldız ayrılığım gökyüzüne bir gün bor mening.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to another special episode of Talk is Turkestan. Today I have with me Sister Rizwangul Nurmuhammad. I'm sure you've seen her in the media, and we're basically going to talk about her story of her family in Chinese-occupied Turkestan, what she's gone through in the past few weeks, and hopefully you guys can share her message, inshallah. So I'd like, without further ado, to welcome Sister Rizwangul to our show. Assalamu alaikum, sister. How are you today?
Walaikum assalam. Good, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. I understand that your voice has gone a little bit today, so I'll try and we'll try and keep the interview short as possible, so to not strain you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So before we get started, could you please just remind everyone of our story? Now, we've had you on our show before. Could you please just remind our audience of your situation, of your family in the concentration camps, and then we get started with the topic.
Thank you. Okay. So my brother, Meulan, he was arrested in January 2017 while he was having lunch break from his full-time job with China Telecom. So until now, we don't know, if he's alive or not. But there were no trial, no official information telling us that why he was arrested. He was accused for a crime that he didn't commit, which is, they use the term splitting the state, which means separatist, secession. I can't hear you, Arslan. Your voice gone.
Sorry, you've been in the news recently. So basically, for our brothers and sisters who don't know Sister Rizwangul's story, we actually have a link to an article of what's been happening recently with China intimidating Uyghurs abroad. So could you please walk us through what happened with you specifically on that day?
Yeah, that was Thursday. It's 5 o'clock. We have weekly colloquium session. So every session we invite, the program leader invite the speakers who are serving in public services, so to come and share us their work experience, and and we usually have Q&A session towards the end. So there were questions regarding Afghanistan, Ukrainian. It's just in an environment that we can raise up our questions and ask the speaker. So, and then I thought that this is a chance that to ask my question, which has been really bothering me for the couple of weeks. And then I stand up and I asked that personally. I said personally, I'm happy to see that how international community has been swiftly react and to the Ukrainian war and provided support for the Ukrainian people. But when I look at our people, my Uyghur people, personally, my brother's situation, who has been arbitrarily detained in Chinese prison for the last 5 years, we have been going through genocide. And the Uyghurs in diaspora, we have been literally experiencing post-trauma syndromes. We have been, impacted by this, genocide. And I said that, from her perspective, what does she think about this Like, and again, sorry, I said that, but we are not seeing much support. People are dying, including my brother who is languishing in Chinese prison, but we are not seeing support. I said, from your perspective, could you please explain why there is a huge difference? That's my question. And then when she started to, answer my question, we noticed that, the attendees, one after another, stand up and walked out, and eventually walked out as a group from that room. So now we know that they are all Chinese students. And when they walked out, some of attendees noticed that they were booing at me and taunting at me. I personally heard that they were laughing. I think they might have stayed once they walked out, and they stayed in the hall for a while. Well, that time I heard that they were laughing at me, laughing. They were laughing. So, and personally, they claim that it's a protest, but personally for me, who as an Uyghur living in overseas and have been intimidated, by the Chinese resources, and I also have heard that many other Uyghurs who spoke up for their relatives, they have received, many different kinds of, intimidations. So for me, I have all the reason, all the rights to believe that, and their action, walking out, as an intimidation for me. They try to silence me. They literally saying that, you're talking about genocide, you criticizing Chinese government. We don't want to hear. This is not welcome here. So, you watch out, don't speak again. That's the signal I can get it.
I actually read the letter from the dean of Cornell University, and he said something to the effect of, whilst we should have a discussion on the genocide, but it should not be used as a device for Asian hate. And what people don't realize is Uyghurs are Asians, and you have
That's
an
what
Asian talking about her brother in a camp, which I found funny. But do you think this standing up and this laughing and all this was pre-prepared?
To be honest, I'm not sure, but it is so interesting to see and to observe that, how a bunch of people, a group of people can think the same and interpret the message in the same way and act the same. Yeah.
Have you been through something like this before?
Not exactly like this.
Yeah.
That's why I'm, like intimidated by, intimidation when I speak about genocide is like I would expect the least in an academic environment.
Yeah. What's been the reaction of the university? Have they done anything? I know they sent out some letters.
Yeah, I mean didn't uh, they didn't approach me before they sent out the first letter.
Mhm.
So my how I interpreted that walkout and how I have been like impacted personally was missing from this that first email.
In the media, your story has gone all over the media. Is that when they approached you once this was getting sort of heating up?
No. They sent out the first email,
Mhm.
and I would guess that it's like just few minutes gap that I also received an email from that professor
Yeah.
yeah, that sent out the email saying that can we talk, and then I said yeah, of course we can talk, and then I told him that how I feel about the incident, how I felt about the email, everything.
You
But
know,
at that time, even after that, and then I came to know that actually those who worked out, they prepared a letter and signed, even including other students who were not at that session. That they number is like 88, and they provided this letter, their claim on that night, Thursday night.
do you think this is, are these students from the Confucius Center or Scholars and Students Union Association? Where are they from? Or are they just random, China loving students?
Oh, you're talking about this, who signed the letter or who attended?
Yeah. The students that signed the letter. Is it? I'm saying, like, in the background, is China behind it? Do you think?
I um I can't random. I mean, to be honest, it needs to be investigated.
Yeah.
I myself, I did read the letter, but I didn't really look through, go through the signature list myself. But I think this needs to be investigated um, because of this incident, I have come to know that there are other incidents. For example, in Canada, there were like the Chinese arm in such kind of incidents. But personally, to this specific incident, I don't have that information. It needs to be investigated.
I know we didn't speak about this topic beforehand, but how much influence do Chinese students have in universities? Do you have knowledge of this?
From this incident, yes, I do feel that there is influence.
Yeah.
There is influence.
Has there been a reaction from the Chinese government in any way?
Today is Saturday or Sunday. Sorry. So on Thursday morning, there was a news about me and this incident through, I think it's Huanqiu Shiba, I think. Yeah.
And what did they say?
Of course, they blamed on me.
Yeah.
They said I played victim, which is not correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And your brother is apparently he's charged with what exactly?
The exact term they used is splitting the state.
And what does that mean for our audience? What does that mean to split the state?
Separatism, like probably some activities that regarding, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Separatism. I mean, in Chinese, like, context, like, especially when you look at the arbitrary detention in a unprecedented, like, large scale, that they arrest people, Uyghurs, like, for any reason, very random reason. Like, for example, you having the beard, you could be in the jail already.
Yeah.
You could be in the prison in China. So when they say splitting the state, I would understand it as just separatism. You know how China has been blaming Uyghurs, like, terrorist separatism, and the other one,
Extremism.
Extremism. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So going forward, because you've experienced this now, does this deter you from going on and speaking about your family, or does it only make you stronger?
No, not at all. If I don't speak for my family, who's gonna speak for them? My brother. Like, when I see you, for example, my heart really pains because my brother, he's languishing in the Chinese prison, and among the millions of Uyghurs, we have to speak up. And especially from this incident, what I realized is that, when we speak about genocide that, China has been carrying on the Uyghurs, and when we literally, like, criticizing China, it can like interpreted by some international Chinese international student as an anti-Chinese, even anti-Asian. What we are seeing is that the genocide has been carried out by CCP, by the Chinese Communist Party, not the Chinese people. But as a Chinese person, if you deny this genocide, if you support this genocide in any matter, you are complicit. This is what I have observed, And then, because our people, like in home, they are voiceless, we have to voice for them. We have to be the voice for them.
What is your message to Uyghurs who are still silent, who are worried that they may have some family members who are in the camps, but they won't speak up because they don't want to put into trouble the rest of their family who are outside of the camps? Do you have a message for these people?
I strongly recommend that speak up. Speak up. Maybe your family member, cannot get released, or maybe even they safety will maybe even more jeopardized. But this is not only about one family. This is about the whole Uyghur nation. We have to speak up. And if for any reason, if you can't speak up like publicly, like with showing your face, you can still provide information to, a lot of resources, I would guess. There is a victim database as well as tribunal. You can pass your message through many other channels. So I encourage that please speak up.
Do you have any petitions going on or any projects going on for your brother or your family still? I
started a petition on the change.org like in end of 2019, but New Zealand government didn't respond it. The petition itself, I would claim that New Zealand government's quiet policy, quiet diplomacy on my brother's issue has failed me. That petition is still on, but I think that me speaking up like this, it's also accumulating some pressure on Chinese government. And I'm still now thinking that, I may do more. So I haven't got the exact plan yet, but as I mentioned earlier, I will speak up. This includes not only like public speaking, but other approaches as well.
And finally, the last question, what's your message to the Chinese government?
Release my brother. Release all the innocent, without unconditionally and immediately. Release them. China can't continue to deceive the world like this. That's why I also say that, we have to speak up. Yes, China is influencing the world in many ways, especially from financial aspects. But we are vulnerable, but we have the voice and we have to speak up. And I asked Chinese government to, release my brother and allow me talk to my mother. What they are doing is wrong.
Yes, we hear your message loud and clear, sister. Yes, did you? Was there anything else that you wanted to add that I didn't quite ask from you?
Thank you for providing this opportunity to share my reflection and experience from this incident. And as an Uyghur speaking against the genocide, against arbitrary detention, I do feel, threat and forces that try to silence me, but I won't stop. And I again encourage other Uyghurs to speak up, as much as capacities they would have. And I also would like to invite the audiences, of course, including Muslim brothers and sisters, please, pay attention and give your time to, try to understand what's really going on and support the Uyghurs in any way possible. If you have any Uyghurs around you in diaspora, please go and talk to them, ask them what help they need.
Okay, you heard it right here, brothers and sisters. I'd like to thank Sister Rizwangul for sharing her message. Make sure you follow her on social media where she shares these stories about her brother and her family. Until next time, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ümit üzme aziz halqim, ümit üzme ey ana yurt. Biz atlandık bu küreşke, o yıl taştek uyuşup. Allah verse bu nusretni, bizgilerimiz